So we're going to start at our pecs and then move down towards our hips. We're going to start at the front of our shoulder, move to the middle of our shoulder, and then find the back of our shoulder, right? So kind of three areas that we're going to massage with the edge of the foam roller. I'm going to start on my right shoulder. So I'm going to come to lying down on my mat. The foam roller, I'm going to start kind of at a 45-degree angle, threading it towards my armpit. So I'm starting on the front of my shoulder. My right arm is going to be long out in front of me. And I'm going to circle my hand back towards the wall behind me. And then back forward, reaching it in front. Just starting to open up the front of my shoulder. I like to lay my left hand on top of the foam roller just to kind of hold it still as I feel the fibers of my right pec deltoid start to massage into the edge of that foam roller. Circle that arm to a place that it feels a little tender. Mine is as it starts to internally rotate, about 45 degrees behind me. I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to drop the hand down to the mat, let it soften. And now I'm going to pick my arm up and reach it on a diagonal. And then soften. Pick my arm up and reach on a diagonal. So I'm feeling kind of the head of my shoulder turn into the foam roller. If your arm is somewhere else, hopefully you're still just feeling the fibers of your muscle flex against the foam roller and soften. Let's do that just once more. Reaching and then carefully circle it all the way back forward. Lift yourself up just a little bit. You're going to thread the foam roller deeper into your armpit now. So now it's a little bit more in the middle of your armpit. I feel like it's that place where it's kind of hard to shave sometimes because all the fibers of your muscle run right there. That I think it has a name. I don't know what it is. So reaching that right arm forward, let's actually just keep our right arm still this time. And with your left hand, you're gently going to rock that foam roller as though it's kneading deeper into the deepest part of your armpit. I'm sort of feeling for any tension in my armpit, and I'm trying to use the foam roller, the edge of it, to massage like a masseuse's hand. If your pecs are really tight, right, they might try to stretch and open your chest. Let's do that just once more. I'm kind of making little adjustments as I go. And then soften. Let's just take an inhale here. And try to visualize you can inhale to the shallowness of your collarbone up into your right ribs. Exhale. I'm going to turn a little bit more towards you. And I'm going to bring the foam roller along the border of my scapula, between my scapula and my rib cage, right? So now I'm going to find the inside of my serratus. So I'm going to feel for where my scapula is. I'm kind of along my rib cage. So I'm between the scapula and my ribs, and that right arm again is just going to be long. If this is a little bit much on your head, you can even just support your head and neck here. That left hand is going to have the foam roller, and I'm just going to massage it into the very back of my armpit before I've exited off of my rib cage. I'm going to move my foam roller just a little bit up and down, kind of feeling for any tightness through my lats and my serratus. So I'm not on my scapula, I'm just inside of it. And I'm a little bit tighter, actually closer to my triceps. So I'm actually kind of working my way up, back into my armpit just a little bit. Let's just do that once more. There we go. A little massage. Again, let's hold, kind of release. Try to inhale. And exhale completely, slowly. Bring yourself up. So what I want us to focus on just a little bit is this area through our waist we just stretched, either laterally or massaging it. Try to keep that active so that we don't sink and collapse into our shoulder, but feel like you're going to push from the waist. So as we come onto our hip, right hip is going to find the foam roller. We're going to stay up on a strong right arm. That foam roller is going to come between your greater trochanter and the front of your hip. I'm going to come down onto my elbow, but I'm going to stay strong through my shoulder. And I'm just going to kind of bend and extend that right leg as I roll the foam roller from the greater trochanter to the top of my pelvis. I'm rolling back just a little bit to see my glutes are kind of tight today, or I could roll forward just a little bit if my hip flexors were really tight today. Let's do that twice more. And last one. From here, that right leg is going to go back. The left leg is going to come in front. And I'm slowly going to bend the knee and let it soften. I'm going to reach for my foot behind me, grabbing onto it. I'm going to try to lengthen my knee away from me. So think of bridge, right? Like you're opening the eye of your hip crease. I'm going to start to turn into the foam roller and then back. Notice if you're collapsed in your right shoulder. Try to keep it strong, right? We really try to open up through the collarbone, find range of motion through the shoulders, all of that. Let's do 2. And last one. And back through center. Carefully release that back leg. Now lift up, bringing the foam roller along the meaty part of your thigh, right? So now I'm below my greater trochanter, between my knee and my hip, and I'm going to flow up and down. I'm pushing between my left foot and a strong right shoulder. Try not to collapse into that shoulder, right? Push energy down into the mat to lift through your waist. Let's do 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Now continue to turn forward onto your forearms. Your right leg is going to stay straight. Your left knee is going to bend, and you're going to bring the knee near to the foam roller. And then you're going to roll up and down on your left shin and your right quad. So I'm in like an external rotation on my left leg. So I'm getting the inside border of my shin and the top of my left quad. I'm strong through my shoulders, right? Try to push energy down into the mat so you don't collapse into your shoulders. But lift through the layers of abdominals. And I'm rolling through a slight internal or external rotation with my right leg as I'm trying to find those knots in my quad and kind of massage them. Let's do one more stroke. And then soften. Carefully press yourself back. Coming off of that foam roller, we're going to switch to the other side. So again, we're going to find the front of our shoulder, the inside of our armpit, and the border of our scapula back behind our shoulder. So I'm going to start with that foam roller about kind of like a 45-degree angle as though I'm threading it into my arm. It's going to start at the front of my shoulder too, right? So I'm thinking the front of my deltoid. Yeah, I'm on my left arm, so the foam roller is out in front of the right side of my body. My right hand is holding onto it, and I'm going to just start to circle my left arm behind me and feel the way that my shoulder is kind of dropping into the foam roller in front. I'm using kind of the border of that foam roller or the edge of the foam roller to knead into my shoulder. Right there where your pec starts to feed into your deltoid. You can make small adjustments with that foam roller as you progress if you're feeling that there's an area of tightness. Maybe you want to move the angle so it's better adjusted. Internal and external rotation. I'm going to spiral my arm to a position where I start to feel it kind of tight. And I'm going to hold it there. And then I'm just going to lift and lower my arm. Doesn't have to be very big. And mine is different on this side than it was on my right. I might move it again just a little bit, kind of play with that, starting to spiral towards that internal rotation. Let's just do 2 more. And last one. Good. Circle that arm back up through center. Let's take just a moment, release it onto the floor. Let's take an inhale. And exhale. Good. Picking yourself up just a little bit, thread the foam roller a little deeper still. So now it's really on the band of muscles that run inside of your armpit. And you're going to just stretch your arm straight and hold it there. And feel a little bit like you're melting around the foam roller and start to knead the foam roller in to your armpit. So again, using the border of the foam roller to massage, almost like a masseuse's hand, trying to open up your shoulders just a little bit. Maybe you play with the angle, going from like a 45 to a 90-degree angle. See how that feels. Let's just do one more little adjustment if that feels good. And then hold the foam roller and try to take a breath into the left side of your rib cage. Underneath the left collarbone, and exhale completely. Carefully roll onto your left side. Now the foam roller is going to come at the back of your rib cage. It's not going to leave at the back, right? It's going to find the border of your scapula right inside of there between your rib and your scapula. That left arm is going to be long. Again, use the edge of the foam roller. And then just hold the foam roller with your right hand and gently kind of massage into your shoulder. I'm going to lift and move it up a little bit because I'm tight. I'm tighter near where my tricep feeds into the back, right? So we kind of got the front of the shoulder where we felt our deltoid and pec. Now we're moving into the back where we have our lats, triceps, serratus. Good. I'm starting to move that foam roller up just a little bit each time, almost like it's moving back into my armpit, finding the back. Let's do that just once more, little adjustment, couple rolls, gently massaging. Let's take an inhale and exhale completely. Carefully coming off of that foam roller, pressing yourself up. You're going to bring the foam roller between your greater trochanter and the top of your pelvis. That right foot can stay at the back. Find a strong shoulder again, right? Try not to collapse into the shoulder. But lots of times these muscles that we just massaged along the border of our ribs and our scapula, I want you to feel like you're going to push energy down into the foam roller and like someone's pulled your rib cage up. And then again, bend and extend that left leg, massaging, really feeling along the pelvis, kind of the eye of your left hip crease. This one is not nearly as tight as my right one was. I'm going to step my right foot forward. I'm going to soften my left knee down, and I'm going to reach for my foot behind me. I'm going to try to lengthen my knee to the far side of the room so that the eye of my left hip crease is open. And then I'm going to turn towards my hip flexor and then roll back towards my glute. Turn towards my hip flexor and roll back towards my glute. So just a little massaging. You can always adjust kind of a little bit if you feel like you've found a spot and you want to kind of breathe into that. You can hold. Last one. Back through center, carefully release that foot. You're going to push between your right foot and your left elbow to lift your hips. Slide the foam roller towards the middle of your thigh and then roll up and down on the outside. Ooh, very tight as I roll towards my hamstrings here. So you can play with a little internal or external rotation to see if you're tighter towards your quad or towards the hamstring. I'm definitely towards my hamstring today. Let's do 3. Again, try to stay strong in your shoulder. 2. And last one. And then hold and breathe. Rotating towards your forearms. So I am kind of shifted so that I have enough room for my knee, right? I'm not in the middle of my foam roller. I'm actually a little bit more to the left. so that I can kind of attitude place my right knee onto the foam roller. So I'm getting the inside of my right shin and the top of my left quad. Try to stay strong in your shoulders. You're not collapsing down towards the mat. Lift the layers of abdominals. And again, you can play with an internal rotation of that left leg or an external rotation. Let's do 2 more. Nice big brush strokes up and down. And last one. And then carefully press yourself all the way back. All right. So I'd like to do one more hip stretch. It has a combination of a pigeon and a deep rotation. If it's not for you today, you can stop at any point of the progression and hold there and try to release. I'm going to start, I think I'll start with my left leg. I think that will be the best way for you to see the exercise. So if you want to, you could even do pigeon. If your hips are really tight today, those external rotators, if they're not going to let go, it might be a little hard getting over the foam roller. I'll show you with the foam roller if you want. You're going to bring that left foot in front, and you're going to lay the foam roller between your left hip and the eye of your right hip. Right? So you're kind of sitting on the foam roller. If that's too much for you, you can do without, except that might actually create more of a valley that your body has to sit in. So while it might be a little hard to get over the foam roller, you might enjoy having a prop that your pelvis can actually kind of sit on. And you can hold here and just really try to open up the outside of that left hip if it's really tight. So you want to feel your left glute and the eye of your right hip crease. If it's available to you, maybe you can walk it out, try to find a little bit closer stretch to the mat. Maybe just a nice breath. If you want to deepen the stretch, carefully bring yourself back up. You're going to walk the left hand towards the middle. Now remember the openness across your shoulder. Think about widening your left collarbone and standing through your waist into that arm. You're going to carefully reach with your right hand towards your right foot. Now this alone then might be it. Maybe you're done. Maybe that's your stretch. It's a nice hip flexor stretch, right? Because we want to drop our right hip flexor down into the mat. Or you can add on a little bit further still. On an exhale, carefully pull your right foot towards your bottom as you turn towards the right, dropping the eye of your right hip crease into the foam roller. And then inhale to release, gently letting that foot soften as you turn your heart to the front and feel like your left hip is dropping down into the foam roller. Exhale, gently pull, rotating your torso, stand into that left arm, widen your left collarbone, lift through your heart. And then inhale to release just a little bit, turn back towards center. Think about turning your rib cage separate of your pelvis. Exhale, last one. Keep that left collarbone wide. Can you feel your left shoulder drop back and down? Release back through center. Carefully let go of that foot. Slowly soften it back down. I'm going to shift my weight back towards my back, and then I'm straddling the foam roller. And I'm going to walk my bottom towards the end, just for a real quick figure 4 stretch. Yeah, everybody looks great. Hands behind us. Let's massage our right and left hip again. So that right foot's going to stay down. Left foot is figure 4. So it's like you're straddling that foam roller. Now roll the foam roller to the outside of your left hip and then back towards your tailbone. So just on the left side. Back and forth on your left glute. So again, just a little bit more. 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Back through center, left foot lowers, right leg lifts. Now you're in the middle again. Roll the foam roller towards the outside of your right hip, and then back to the middle. Right, just to the right. Good, we kind of created this space, and now we're massaging the foam roller into our piriformis. 4, 3, last 2, and 1, and then back through center. Carefully shift your weight. I'm going to go to the left of my foam roller. As I turn now, and we're going to move through our right side. So again, carefully step that right leg forward. So what I work for in my pigeon is the left, my right foot is going to be in line with the left side of my body, and my right knee is going to be in line with the right side of my body. I'm not too worried about where your shin is, whether or not it's like perfectly parallel with the front of your mat. I'm thinking a little bit more about the knee as it relates to your right shoulder and the foot as it relates to your left shoulder. If at any point this is too much on your knee, please don't rotate, right? If it's not safe, don't move through that stretch. You can do a wonderful figure 4 stretch. You don't have to put your hips and knee in this position. So great little release if you just want to start here, just kind of wrapping your body around the foam roller. You're using it as a prop to start to open up through your hips, or you can bring yourself down just a little bit. My right side feels a little different than my left today. I'm going to take a nice big inhale here. As I prop myself back up, I'm going to step my right hand towards the middle, and I'm going to think about widening my right collarbone, right? So I don't want to sink into the shoulder, but I actually want to really send energy down into the mat to keep my heart lifted. I'm going to carefully reach back towards my foot. And I like grabbing the inside of my foot so that I'm wide through my left shoulder, right? Yeah, nice. There you go. Good. Good. And even just right here, I'm starting to get a stretch through the eye of my left hip crease. And it's nice. And so maybe I want to hold here a beat. Or if you want to add that torso rotation, start to gently pull the foot towards your bottom. Your right arm is still strong. And then start to release the foot and try to turn your heart back towards the front of your mat. Your right collarbone is wide. Try to draw that shoulder back and down. You're not sinking into it. You're keeping your shoulder safe. And release. Stretch open the left hip crease, right glute. Last one. Little exhale, getting a quad stretch too. Try to drop that shoulder back and down, back through center. Gently release through the foot. Slowly letting that go. Go ahead and walk yourself back. Good. We'll come off of that foam roller. All the way off to one side. Good. Very nice.